Right now on Morning News Now, a presidential pardon sending shockwaves through the political world. President Biden reversing course and pardoning his son Hunter just days before his sentencings on federal gun and tax charges. We have team coverage on the controversial move. We'll tell you about the reaction to it and what happens next. Also this morning, fallout over President-elect Trump's latest pick for a top job. Hardline loyalist Kash Patel tapped to lead the FBI after previously pledging to dismantle the agency.
He represents the type of change that we need to see in the FBI.
So I will vote no, and I will organize not just my colleagues, but the American public.
Now, current FBI Director Christopher Wray faced with the choice to either resign or wait to be fired. We'll bring you the latest. Plus, millions of Americans heading home after the Thanksgiving holiday, but a December snowstorm could cause major delays. We are tracking the conditions before you head out the door. And a Thanksgiving trifecta defying gravity at the box office. The record numbers that show moviegoers are, in fact, entertained.
Plenty to see, no matter what you like at the theater over the weekend.
It's so true. I saw Wicked for a second time, and it was packed.
You've seen it twice now.
Seen
Very
it twice.
good. All right.
Highly recommend.
Good to have you on a Monday morning. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Hope you all enjoyed the Thanksgiving holiday with your families. We're going to get started today with President Biden citing a full and unconditional pardon for his son Hunter just weeks before he was set to be sentenced in 2 federal criminal cases.
Hunter Biden was convicted earlier this year on gun charges. He also pleaded guilty to tax evasion. In a statement on Sunday, the president said in part, quote, "No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision." The move is a major reversal for the president. For months, he said he would not use his executive authority to pardon his son or commute his sentence. We have full team coverage to break this all down for us. NBC News presidential historian Michael Beschloss is standing by to discuss the historical context of this move. First, let's start with NBC News supervising investigative producer Sarah Fitzpatrick and our legal analyst Danny Savalos. Good to have you both with us. Sarah, you were one of the first journalists to break this story. Tell us more about the president's decision to issue this pardon before he leaves office and what we're hearing from Hunter Biden himself.
Joe, this was a long process of reporting for us over many, many months. And it was also a long process, I think, for the president. I think everyone around him did not know ultimately how and if this would transpire up until the moment that it happened. We learned that after Hunter Biden was found guilty by a jury in Delaware on felony gun charges in June, the president privately discussed with his aides the possibility of pardoning Hunter, even as the White House and the president maintained publicly that the option was off the table. Hunter's attorneys and those around him continued to prepare for his additional trial in California on tax charges, which he ultimately pled guilty to. And then even up until this week, we're preparing for sentencing memos that were scheduled to go into today, arguing why he should receive a reduced sentence from the judge. But as part of that process, his lawyers prepared a 52-page, what they called a white paper, titled The Political Prosecutions of Hunter Biden. And that paper laid out what they alleged was kind of improper process that led to Hunter Biden's legal troubles that they felt were at the direction of the president and those around him. Now, that white paper, we repeatedly asked if that had made its way to the president this week, and his lawyers did not respond to those questions. But you can see in the president's statements that he seemed to share those sentiments and those beliefs. Ultimately, this weekend, Hunter and his father spent a lot of private time together on Nantucket over the Thanksgiving holiday. They spent a lot of time in conversation, and that decision was ultimately made on Sunday, and the American public found out shortly after. Joe?
Danny, let's bring you in here and pick up on a thread there that Sarah was just discussing when we look at President Biden's statement and sort of his attitude about the fact that if Biden weren't his last name, this wouldn't have happened. The plea deal wouldn't have fallen apart. He wouldn't have been facing jail time. Does that ring true to you?
A couple things can be true at the same time. Yes, it's true that Hunter Biden got more scrutiny because he's a president's son, and that arguably led to his prosecution. But also true is the fact that a jury found Hunter Biden guilty not just of a paperwork offense, but a firearms offense in which the evidence showed that the firearm was disposed of in a public garbage can in a galactically stupid way. So those two things can be true, that Hunter Biden was, in a sense, targeted, and I say targeted by scrutiny. However, at the same time, the federal government chose to prosecute him. He was willing to plead guilty to the crime, and a jury concluded that he was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, admittedly of crimes that are not frequently prosecuted. But in part, I would agree, the tax evasion crime, you have a good argument. It's not one that's brought that often. The firearms case, the unlawful user of drugs, is not prosecuted often because it's hard to prove that somebody was an unlawful user of drugs at the time they filled out a federal firearm form. But Hunter Biden did give them a heck of a lot of evidence in a book he wrote and a laptop full of data. You don't get that kind of evidence often as a federal prosecutor.
So let's look at this pardon. It covers basically an 11-year period from January 2014 to yesterday, so almost 11 years. Why is that? Is this the possibility that Hunter Biden could face more prosecution in the next Trump administration?
Yes, but this was another ill-advised move by President Biden. He should have just made the pardon forever and ever, from the beginning of time to the primordial era to the dinosaurs roam the earth. That would have been fine because it's effectively the same thing. A 10-year look back. Most federal crimes have a 5-year statute of limitations. He could have just made it unlimited. He has the power to do so under the pardon power. And now everyone's scrutinizing that 10-year period and saying, oh, it covers everything up to the time that he leaves. Therefore, he's trying to insulate him. Well, of course he's trying to insulate him. That's the pardon power. And Michael Beschloss will tell us, it is the broadest power to the president in the Constitution. It's unreviewable, and especially after the Supreme Court's immunity decision this summer, you probably cannot prosecute a president even if he hands out pardons for bags of cash.
Sarah, since June, we all know President Biden and his staff had repeatedly said that Hunter would not be given a pardon. That's why we're calling this big reversal. How are lawmakers and President-elect Trump reacting to that sudden reversal?
I think we're seeing what the president and his aides had anticipated, that there is a lot of discussion about the fact that this, was somehow improper, that he's going against his word. President Biden often says his word as a Biden is kind of his most important kind of leading organizing principle. So I think this hits politically really in a strong way. We've seen the president suggest that perhaps January 6th defendants should be given pardons as well. But I think, one thing that may be being missed in this is that while this pardon does protect Hunter, it could also put a target on his back. And that was one of the things that the president was weighing as he made this decision. Obviously, an incoming Trump administration has indicated that they intend to go after the Biden family, not just Hunter, and it's perhaps they will go after others in that circle for supporting Hunter or other conduct. And so what we may see this play out is that it actually increases the likelihood that a FBI under Kash Patel, a Justice Department, full of Trump loyalists, they may see this as, a trigger to continue targeting this family.
All right, Sarah and Danny, thank you both. Appreciate it.
As mentioned, let's get some more historical context on this pardon from NBC News presidential historian Michael Beschloss. Michael, good morning. Always a joy to have you with us. Tell us what kinds of considerations historically go into pardoning someone.
Well, just as Danny was mentioning, here we have a situation where the Constitution, the founders gave a president this almost unlimited power of pardon on federal offenses. And the whole idea was to base it on what the King of England did, one of the few cases in which we tried to emulate the king, where perhaps there had been a breakdown in the legal system, the king could make it up with mercy. So they assumed that presidents of the United States would be people who would use their judgment to remedy cases in which people had gotten a bad deal, there was a defect in the system, or, and preferably plus, a situation in which the person being pardoned would have a record of good conduct since his or her offense, and also say, didn't try to say, I didn't do this, some penance would be involved as well. So all this went into this, but Obviously, it's very different when you're talking about a president of the United States pardoning his son.
Yeah, and the reality is this is not the first time a president has pardoned a family member or a close friend. Talk about the history here. What's some of the precedent for a move like this?
Roger Clinton, the brother of President Clinton, was pardoned by him for drug convictions just before the end of his presidency. Very controversial. Charles Kushner, whom President-elect Trump is now nominated as ambassador to Paris, or is about to do so, was pardoned by him, although he was the father-in-law of his daughter. So there is a history of this. But the thing is that the founders said in the Constitution, we think that presidents of the United States will be people of such character and such judgment. We expect that we are willing to give this immense power to a president of the United States, almost carte blanche.
In the broader context of things that President Biden will be remembered for, and of course, we're lucky to be able to ask you, somebody who examines presidential history so closely, how do you think this pardon will factor into Biden's legacy?
It'll certainly be considered by historians and biographers, and they will weigh a couple of things. They'll weigh in his favor the fact that this was merciful toward his son. He felt that his son had been wrongly treated. He was worried about what might happen under the administration of President-elect Trump, who is a political adversary. But at the same time, they will note that President Biden did say to the public that he would not do this and changed his mind. And there is always a question with any pardon of, is there an equal standard of justice? When Gerald Ford pardoned Richard Nixon, people said, why does Nixon get off scot-free, when someone who stole something from, a Walmart or a Kmart would not get to do so? So those things are always raised. And most of these pardons, especially of family members, are extremely controversial. This one will be too.
Michael Beschloss, we appreciate you as always. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Well, millions of Americans are under winter alerts as powerful storms dump snow that's being measured in feet across the Great Lakes and Northeast. The weather has delayed flights and it's caused massive gridlock at airports and on the roads.
The storms are hitting at one of the worst possible times. Millions are making their way back from the Thanksgiving holiday. NBC News correspondent George Solis reports on the travel chaos from Orchard Park, New York, outside Buffalo, which is getting hammered by lake-effect snow.
Hey, I'm Joe and Savannah from a very frigid Orchard Park. You can see lots of snow here on the ground. Those snow drifts from that lake effect snow falling heavily overnight, including during Sunday Night Football. That was one snowy Buffalo Bills game. This lake effect snow not expected to wrap up anytime soon. Parts of New York here could see additional snow into tomorrow, which is why we are seeing some school cancellations, some class cancellations here in the region as well. Travel, of course, a nightmare when you consider it was one of the busiest travel holiday weekends coming off of the Thanksgiving period. At the Philadelphia International Airport, some power outages there made for some headaches. Roadways, some interstates here between the Pennsylvania and New York line were also congested. You saw a number of cars that were stranded. You also saw a number of accidents. You saw plows struggling to keep up with some of those clogged roadways. Really just not ideal conditions when you have all of this snow coming. There was a lot of treacherous travel between Cleveland and Buffalo, which did cause some reservations about how much traffic we were going to see during that football game. Nonetheless, some of those travel bans that were in place here in New York were lifted just in time for the game, but those advisories remain in place. This morning, roads looking fairly clear. We saw a number of plows on the roads really just doing their job, working around the clock to clear the communities. But we were hearing from residents in these areas that are actually used to getting a lot of snow who were saying this was a very dense snow. It hit very hard. Some snow blowers even having a really hard time clearing it up. That said, now we're looking at all of this snow on the ground. The dig out begins, but of course that is going to be complicated as, again, you are looking at potential more snow here in the region. Folks really hoping that this first taste of snow for the season is probably it. I mean, they're used to dealing with snow up here, but again, this was sort of a real unpredictable weather event in terms of just how much they got and when they got it. We were actually expecting some of the snow to taper off here in the Orchard Park area by kickoff, but obviously that did not happen. A lot of snow here on the ground, a lot more cleanup to have, and again, that snow, unfortunately, looking to stick around. Back to you guys.
George Solis, thank you so much. Let's get a check on that crush of winter weather.
Got meteorologist Michelle Grossman tracking these winter alerts across the Great Lakes and more. Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Hey there, guys. Great to see you. And yeah, as George mentioned, we're going to see that snow continuing. We could add another 20 inches of snow in some spots, and some places have seen up to 5-6 feet of snow. So this is what radar looks like right now. It doesn't look like a whole lot when you look at it, but these are bands that have a lot of snow. Remember, the warm lake waters, upper 40s, low 50s, that gives it more moisture because it's warm. So warmer air can hold more moisture. And that's what we're going to see as we go throughout the next couple of days. And then behind this, we're going to see another system move on shore or move across the Great Lakes by Wednesday. So we are looking at Michigan, the UP of Michigan, getting a lot of snow. And it looks like the heaviest amounts of snow will be downwind of Lake Erie, where we could see additional feet of snow. 5 million people impacted by winter alerts. We have lake effect snow warnings, of course. That's where we see Erie and Cleveland, and that's where we expect the highest accumulating snow totals over the next couple of days. Winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, winter weather advisories. That's through the UP of Michigan, through the state of Michigan as well. So as we go throughout time here, we're going to see those scattered snow showers persisting throughout the region, not out of the woods yet, not today, not tomorrow. Most of it will start to wind down tomorrow before we see another system move in on Wednesday. But again, we could see reduced visibilities, really tough road travels. I was looking at some live shots earlier from Syracuse and from Erie. The roads are covered. Mondays are tough, but when you have snow falling and so much snow, it makes it even tougher. So we could see snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. That's going to reduce visibilities. It's windy too. This is a cold wind that's blowing throughout the area as well. Tomorrow, we're going to see a brief break for the eastern half of the Great Lakes, and then the next system moves in and approaches the western parts of the Great Lakes. So how much are we expecting? Where you see the blues, that's 3 inches, 6 inches throughout Michigan, the UP of Michigan. Could see a little more in spots where you see the pinks and purples. And then notice here where you look at Lake Erie, this is downwind. So there's cold air, the cold Arctic air moves across these warm waters, and that's where we're going to see that banding set up, and that's where we could see some really heavy snowfall. That's one big story. Then we were so cold. We're looking at temperatures still below normal for the eastern half of the nation. We're looking at 20s and 30s. Look at these numbers. So many spots at freezing, below freezing, right above freezing. 33 today in Cleveland. These are daytime highs, 10 degrees below what is typical for this time of year. 20s in Indianapolis, Kansas City, below freezing in St. Louis. Cool, too, as we head towards the south. We're looking at Charleston today, 11 degrees below what is expected for this time of year, 55. Into the 40s in Memphis, and we are cold throughout the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, also in New England. Philadelphia today, 39 degrees. That's 11 degrees below normal. Then we're looking by tomorrow. Same story. This cold air is going to stay in place all week long. So if you're looking for 50s back in the forecast, we're not going to see that for some time. We're looking at that wintry chill tomorrow, temperatures in the 30s and 40s, right at the freezing mark in Blacksburg, 17 degrees below normal. And that cold air is all the way down to the southeast, Jacksonville, 55 degrees, Auburn, 48, 39 in Nashville, and below freezing in Springfield. Staying cool throughout the week. Notice all those temperatures, 30s and 40s. Nashville, you're chilly too by Thursday and Friday. Temperatures only in the low 40s. New York City, 43 on Thursday, just 34 on Friday. Then we were watching another system that's going to come through. I kind of mentioned this, that Clipper system. It's going to cross the Great Lakes. We're going to see additional snowfall there, but we're going to see this moving into the Northeast as well. The good news is if you don't like snow, if you don't like a whole lot of rain, it's a moisture storage system. The Clipper system comes from the north, not a lot of moisture to draw from. So we will see cold rain targeting the East Coast. Could see a few snowflakes mixing in also as we go throughout the later part of Wednesday and the Thursday. But most of the heavy snow will fall downwind of the Great Lakes once again. So you see those pinks and purples. We're talking Buffalo, Erie, Watertown, all those places that have the snow stacked up. But northern Maine, you could see some heavy snow as well into parts of Vermont and also New Hampshire. Could see some snow too in Massachusetts down to Connecticut and then into the interior parts of the Northeast. So southeastern Pennsylvania, you could see that down to the Appalachians. Now, as we go throughout the rest of today, we're looking sunny and mild. So really kind of quiet across the country. But these are big stories with the lake effect snow, also that winter chill. Sunny and mild throughout the Southwest, throughout the Northern Plains, and throughout the South Central states. The only hiccup in terms of any thunderstorms would be in southern Texas today.
All right. I feel like my blood has thinned because it felt like it was 10 below this weekend.
Didn't it?
Am I not used to this?
Cold.
What's going on?
You know, it was windy, and we're not used to it. It's been so above normal. I know. I feel like I did not go outside. My poor dog is like like just looking outside. Please, someone take me out.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Sure.
We've got much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later in the hour, a 20-year-old hiker is rescued after being stranded for weeks in the Canadian Rocky Mountains. We'll tell you how he survived for so long in the bitter cold.
Up next from the Middle East, tragic news about an Israeli-American hostage taken captive in the October 7th attacks. The latest on the conflict when we come back.
We are back with some tragic news out of the Middle East this morning. The Israeli military has announced the death of Omer Nutra, an Israeli-American who until this morning was believed to be a hostage taken by Hamas on October 7th. Well, we are now learning that Nutra was killed in the October 7th attacks.
The news comes after Hamas issued a propaganda video of Israeli-American hostage Idan Alexander on Saturday. In the video, Alexander addresses both Israeli and U.S. officials, asking President-elect Donald Trump for help in negotiating his freedom.
In another part of the Middle East, the rapid military advance of a Syrian rebel group this past week has dramatically shifted the front lines of the war against the Assad regime. NBC News International correspondent Matt Bradley joins us now from Lebanon's capital with the very latest. Matt, good morning. A lot to cover in the region. We had spoken to Omer's parents several times on this show. They would not let the White House or Congress forget about their son. What can you tell us about his fate and this terrible news this morning?
Yeah, well, until just today or until just recently, it sounded like the parents of Omer Nutra both thought that their son was still alive and in captivity. And it was only just in the past 24 hours that we've all heard that he was actually killed, not while he was in captivity, not recently, but actually on October 7th. We understand from the Israeli Defense Forces that his body is still being held by militants in the Gaza Strip. So he is one of those many dozens of people who have been held hostage, but who are actually, it is their remains who are being negotiated over. And again, we're seeing new calls for negotiations to try to free those remaining hostages. And again, the remains of those who have died who are still being held hostage. But those calls are being met with some level of pessimism. We did understand that there was an Egyptian delegation that went to Israel presenting some sort of proposal. But it sounds like now, we're hearing this from Israeli media, that was actually more a conversation about the day after in the Gaza Strip that the U.S. has been pushing for as well, and not about the more immediate question of whether or not there's going to be a ceasefire and a release of those remaining hostages. Guys.
Matt, let's talk about this video of Israeli-American hostage Idan Alexander. It was released on Saturday. Just how is his family responding? How are officials responding?
Yeah, well, Idan Alexander's mother has gone actually to top officials in Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, Isaac Herzog, the president, and pleaded for them to do more to release her son and others. And then we also heard yesterday there was a rally in New York Central Park by Alexander's father demanding the same thing, that the Israeli government, the U.S. government, prevail upon the Israeli government to do more to release those remaining hostages. And guys, we have to remember when we're talking about this that there has been a new edict from Hamas in just the past couple of months, that when the Israeli soldiers who close in, if they are to close in on where the hostages are in their fighting in the Gaza Strip, that Hamas operatives are instructed to shoot those hostages dead.
Matt, we also do want to talk about this news in Syria. Rebel forces had made further gains in this years-long Syrian civil war, ultimately taking over Aleppo yesterday, the country's largest city. What is the latest there?
Yeah, now it sounds as though both Aleppo and Idlib have been the scenes of major airstrikes by both Russian and regime forces. It sounds as though at least a dozen people have been killed in those two cities by those airstrikes. But over the past couple of days, it sounds as though more than 300 people have been killed all across northwestern Syria. Now, this was a shock advance, and it really just put the regime of Bashar al-Assad on the back foot. And what's interesting here is that it looks as though these rebels, and we're talking about Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which is an Islamist group that had, or still does have, this is debatable, relations with al-Qaeda and their allies, most of whom are backed by Turkey. They launched this surprise raid, and it looks like they were exploiting the weakness of the Bashar al-Assad regime, because the Assad regime's main backers, Russia and Iran, both, to put it mildly, are distracted in wars elsewhere. Russia, of course, in Ukraine, which has been going on since 2022, and the Iranians with their proxy groups all throughout the region who have been defeated time and time again in major battles by the Israelis. So this looks as though we're seeing conflicts throughout the Middle East begetting other conflicts elsewhere in the Middle East. Guys?
Matt Bradley, thank you for covering it all for us. Stay safe.
More international news now. In Georgia, mass protests against the country's ruling party are taking on new heights this morning.
NBC News international correspondent Claudio Lubanga has that and other world news for us. Claudio, good morning.
Savannah, Joe, good morning. Well, that's right. Tens of thousands of protesters in Georgia's capital, Tbilisi, are going head-to-head with the police in the city's main avenue. Now, protests have been going on for about 5 days straight in response to the ruling Georgian Dream Party's controversial decision to suspend their bid to join the European Union until 2028. Critics say the choice is another step towards a kind of authoritarian regime allegedly influenced by Russia that suppresses citizens and their voices. Hundreds have been arrested and dozens have been injured so far. In other news, Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te just wrapped up a sensitive two-day trip to Hawaii over the weekend. And now it's drawing fresh criticism from China, who still considers Taiwan to be a part of its territory. China's foreign ministry released a statement strongly condemning the trip, where President Lai briefly gathered with public officials and members of Congress. But despite renewed concern about conflict with China, President Lai is continuing his travels to several other Pacific Island nations this week. And we end this short tour of the world with a history-making moment in Belgium, which is now the first country in the world to grant sex workers formal contracts. The bill was passed in May, but it is officially now into effect, or it went into effect yesterday. Now, this means sex workers in the country will get access to resources like sick days, maternity leave, and even a pension. Members of the Belgian Sex Workers Union are celebrating after a years-long fight for this first-of-a-kind moment that helps guarantee their fundamental rights, guys.
All right, Claudio, thank you so much. President-elect Trump's pick for FBI director is raising major concerns over his controversial views and his lack of experience.
Over the weekend, Mr. Trump announced Kash Patel as his selection to head the bureau. The 44-year-old Trump loyalist has little management experience in federal law enforcement and promoted false claims that the 2020 election was stolen. NBC's Ali Rafa has the latest.
President-elect Donald Trump's pick of hardline loyalist Kash Patel to lead the FBI, sparking mixed reaction.
He represents the type of change that we need to see in the FBI.
So I will vote no, and I will organize not just my colleagues, but the American public.
Patel says he'll return the agency to its rightful mission, protecting the American people.
I am honored to be here in support of Donald J. Trump.
Despite holding several positions in the first Trump administration, Patel is facing criticism for a lack of experience, as well as his controversial positions.
We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media.
I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening it the next day as a museum of the deep state.
Mr. Trump's pick underscoring his dislike for the current FBI director whom he appointed, Chris Wray, whose term isn't set to end until 2027.
Apparently has demonstrated too much independence and objectivity in the job for Donald Trump.
Wray now faced with the choice to either resign or wait to be fired. The FBI reacting in a statement saying Director Wray's focus remains on the men and women of the FBI, the people we do the work with and the people we do the work for. Patel's Senate confirmation could be an uphill battle. While many Republicans agree with his goals for the FBI, others have previously said it should operate free of presidential influence. The news capping a busy few days at Mar-a-Lago after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spent Friday night making his case against Mr. Trump's plan to impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico in an effort to curb the flow of undocumented migrants and drugs into the U.S.
Our thanks to Ali for that report, while Mr. Trump has also picked his son-in-law's father, Charles Kushner, as the ambassador to France.
Coming up, you might need to open up your wallet more if you're planning to buy sweet treats for loved ones this holiday season.
Up next, the price of cocoa is now more expensive. We'll explain how climate change is having a big impact and what farmers are doing about it. You're watching Morning News Now.
Welcome back. This holiday season, feeding your sweet tooth could get more expensive. The price of cocoa has more than doubled this year, which could mean less bang for your buck. Some farmers in West Africa, which is the world's largest cocoa producing region, say climate change is to blame. NBC News correspondent, News Now anchor Zincle Esamoah spoke to some of these farmers about how they're trying to adapt.
Daniel Aponsa comes from a long line of cocoa farmers.
So we have lived on cocoa money till now.
But in recent years, the 66-year-old says cultivating the crop is getting harder.
The climate change started to come in. Things became different.
Why?
It was like hell for cocoa farmers. The yield dropped, reduced drastically, and poverty was everywhere.
Ghana is the world's second largest cocoa producer. Here, farmers say erratic rain is leading to crop rot and rampant deforestation is causing dramatic water loss in the soil. Experts say changing weather patterns continue to have a negative impact on the cocoa supply. The price of cocoa has more than doubled since the start of 2024. For consumers, buying chocolate in the U.S. will likely be more expensive this year. To adapt, farmers like Daniel and Ataifsi are teaming up with nonprofit Fair Trade to learn new climate-forward ways to farm, like using fruit-bearing trees to provide moisture and shade to the cocoa crop from excessive heat.
Because there is no protection for the cocoa. But if you see this one, this cocoa.
Oh, it's protected by this. And this is plantain.
This is plantain.
Ifsi sharing that training with other farmers in her community. Today, experts are hopeful a better fall weather forecast and sustainable farming practices will help the cocoa supply rebound this season. While Aponsa credits cocoa and the new farming techniques for his livelihood, he believes more must be done to mitigate climate change.
The hope for a future depends on all of us. We, the cocoa farmers, are the foundation. We have the buyers there. We have these chocolate manufacturers. So let's all come together and see the way forward.
Zincle Esamoah, NBC News.
Let's turn now to what's being hailed as a miracle in the mountains. A 20-year-old hiker was stranded alone in the Canadian Rockies for nearly 2 months and was ultimately rescued right before Thanksgiving. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk has his story.
Sam Bonastic flashing thumbs up in a British Columbia hospital. It is nothing short of miraculous that he ended up there. According to the police, the 20-year-old left on a solo hiking trip in early October. His destination, Redfern-Kiley Provincial Park, deep within the Canadian Rockies. This time of year, the weather is unpredictable, and temperatures often plummet below zero.
How difficult is it to survive this time of year in that kind of place?
Well, if you don't know how, it would be extremely difficult.
The wild terrain home to dangerous predators, black bears, grizzlies, and wolves.
Large packs of wolves with well over 100 wolves in the packs, and they are very active hunters in that area.
Bonastic was supposed to return October 17th, but he did not. Instead, the outdoor enthusiast found himself in his own version of the popular show alone.
Bone-chilling cold.
Winter's coming. This land is as wild as any in North America.
Survivalists are left by themselves in the wilderness to brave the elements and the animals.
Grizzly bears. Mountain lion.
Some seasons set in Western Canada. Bonastic really was alone.
Fortunately, Sam had experience in hiking and being in that kind of environment, so he was able to survive. And then he moved into a valley where he built another camp and a shelter in a dried out creek bed.
Eventually wandering out of the woods on a desolate forestry road 7 weeks later. The police say he was treated for smoke inhalation and frostbite, eventually reunited with his family. Here they are at the Buffalo Inn, where guests are invited to enjoy the beautiful snowy world of British Columbia from indoors. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Wow, what a story.
I feel like a movie is in the works with that one.
All right, coming up, millions of dollars of high-end merchandise is being stolen directly out of warehouses and on trucks. We'll tell you how thieves have been getting away with it and how it could impact your next purchase.
When we come back, today is Cyber Monday, one of the biggest shopping days of the year. We're going to let you know what's popular on holiday gift lists and how you can grab the best deal today.
We are back with a sophisticated crime spree that could impact your gift list this holiday season if you're ordering online. Thieves have been stealing millions of dollars of merchandise straight off delivery trucks and trains, even right out of warehouses. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson has the details.
At first glance, it looks like business as usual. A pallet of goods pulled to a dock for loading. But look a bit closer. That garage door has a hole cut in it. The men unloading the goods are thieves who walked away with $500,000 in stolen electronics just outside Dallas, police say. Amid the holiday shopping crush, burglars are now targeting warehouses, semi-trucks, and trains, with Monday expected to be the peak day for criminal activity.
We have about a 4-day period where the freight terminals, the ports are thinly staffed and very quiet, and that's when the criminals like to strike.
This video appears to show thieves crawling on the floor during a break-in at a computer warehouse in North Carolina this month, just weeks after dozens of criminals were seemingly caught on camera raiding this freight train in Chicago.
It's very lucrative for them. It's low risk for a lot of prison time in their eyes and very high reward. A truckload of liquor could be worth $500,000.
Last quarter, CargoNet recorded a 14% increase in cargo theft across the U.S. and Canada, totaling more than $39 million. The hottest commodities, alcohol and electronics, the majority of which are stolen from California, Illinois, and Texas. And now, experts say fraudsters are becoming more sophisticated, even hacking into email accounts to coordinate fake shipment pickups. Ultimately, who pays the price for these crimes?
In the end, we all do, all the citizens do, because it costs the cargo and freight companies more money for security, for cameras, for GPS tracking. That's passed on to the consumers.
Back near Dallas, 7 people were arrested in connection with that warehouse heist, part of a multi-million-dollar operation responsible for thefts across the area. Busts like that can take months, experts say. Until then, shoppers may be the ones left holding the bag this holiday season. Priscilla Thompson, NBC News.
More money news now. The CEO of automaker giant Stellantis announced plans to exit the driver's seat.
CNBC's Silvana Henao has the latest on that and other financial news for us. Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Savannah. Hey, Joe. Good Monday morning to you. All right, we start with shares of Stellantis, which are tumbling as the CEO of the automaker resigns. Carlos Tavares has led the company since the merger of Fiat Chrysler with Peugeot and Citroën in 2021. Now, Stellantis enjoyed a profitable run during the pandemic as an inventory crunch pushed consumers to pay top dollar for new cars. But sales have slumped this year as the company tried to hang on to those higher sticker prices. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is asking a federal court to stop OpenAI from converting to a for-profit company. Now, Musk's lawyers filing a request for a preliminary injunction on Friday. If granted, it would also prevent the maker of ChatGPT from allegedly requiring investors to refrain from funding competitors, including Musk's AI company, xAI, which has released its own chatbot called Grok. Now, this marks an escalation in the legal feud between Musk, OpenAI, and CEO Sam Altman, as well as other backers, including Microsoft. Musk was an early investor in OpenAI and served on the board until 2018. And cucumbers shipped to the U.S. are being recalled due to a potential salmonella contamination. The CDC says the outbreak has sickened nearly 70 people, including 18 who've been hospitalized. The agency says produce grown in Mexico may be the culprit and sold in the U.S. by Sunfed Produce. People who bought cucumbers between October 12th and November 5th should check with their local stores to see if they're part of that recall, guys.
All right, Silvana, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, let's stay on business news. Today is Cyber Monday. That's the final stretch in the biggest sale and shopping period of the year.
Experts say it's the best time to get gifts like toys, tech, small home appliances. So where can you find some of the best deals?
We've got Shopify President Harley Finkelstein here to help us understand. Harley, good morning. Great to see you as always.
Good morning.
So, Shopify is this global commerce company. It's got more than 2 million U.S. merchants. Before we jump into the best deals today, let's talk about numbers, the traffic you've seen. This holiday shopping weekend, it was predicted to be the most profitable on record. Tell us what you're seeing. What have you been tracking?
Hey, Joe. Hey, Savannah. Absolutely. I think, first of all, Black Friday set this incredible stage for the weekend. What we saw was consumers were buying from brands they love, and most of those brands, if not all of them, are on Shopify. I think my takeaway is that we're living in sort of this new golden age of retail. The best brands in the world are connecting directly with their consumers they love. It's not just online, nor is it offline. It's sort of everywhere. So let's talk about what happened, what we saw on Friday. We saw Shopify merchants drove a record-breaking $5 billion in sales on Black Friday. And we're seeing brands that, again, didn't exist 5 years ago that are dominating. Brunt Workwear averaged an order every 6 seconds for the entirety of Black Friday. BK Beauty had their biggest month ever. And we saw peak sales per minute on Black Friday at $4.6 million per minute. That happened around noon Eastern time. And last year, that peak sales was about 4.2 million. So quite a bit of growth.
Just a new world of commerce in so many ways.
Amazing.
Let's talk about actual shopping. What are some of the biggest trends you're noticing this year about how people are choosing to shop?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, it's not just this online versus offline. It's sort of retail everywhere. And in particular, we're seeing a lot of brands investing in social media to reach younger shoppers. In fact, 18 to 24-year-olds are buying on Instagram and TikTok more than they have before. 57% said they're going to buy on Instagram, 56% on TikTok. And we're seeing brands use BK Beauty, as I mentioned earlier, #1 shop on TikTok leading into Black Friday. We're also seeing U.S. brands are becoming default global. With Ilia Beauty, saw 88% growth in the UK this holiday season. And we're also seeing that it's not just, as I mentioned, not just online. Gymshark, a famously online brand, is doing a 12-week holiday pop-up. But actually, something that's really cool is anyone watching, you can actually see real-time commerce happen right now. We built this thing. It's shopify.com/Black Friday, and you can see live commerce happening right now. As we speak, we're seeing $1.2 million in sales per minute. We're seeing about almost 12,000 orders per minute, and more than 66 million consumers have bought off a Shopify store. Now, you would imagine that they're buying from On Running and Alo Yoga and Skims and Viore. These are all incredible Shopify stores. But actually, and those are big stores, but actually the top trending products across Shopify are companies like Hatch, which does an alarm clock, or Rode Beauty, which is Hailey Bieber's brand, or SheerTex doing stubbornly strong tights. And so you're seeing these brands, again, that are not necessarily well known, that are actually dominating the consumer's interest right now.
So Harley, tell us how we can get a deal. It's Cyber Monday. What should we be looking for?
So this is really cool. So first of all, you can just check out, there's so many different deals happening across the internet, but we have something called the Shop app, for example, lets you discover deals from the best merchants on the planet. You can even use AI to say what you're looking for, and AI will send it back to you. But the other thing is, add to checkout in advance. A lot of people are back at work right now. And so what a lot of people are doing is they're finding deals, but they're completing the purchase a little bit later when they get home right now. And so we're finding that a lot of shoppers are filling up their carts hours in advance, taking advantage of those deals, and then a little bit later they're completing them. But pretty much across the board, every single one of consumers' favorite brands, certainly ones powered by Shopify, which is most of them, have an incredible deal out right now. And so go check it out. But if you want to follow at home, shopify.com/Black Friday will show you everything that's happening in real time right now across global sales.
Harley Finkelstein, thank you very much. Happy Cyber Monday.
Thank you so much. See you guys.
We do. Folks are buying alarm clocks again. All right, with Cyber Monday coming on the heels of Black Friday, we didn't want to overlook another important day for retail, which you might have missed, but hopefully you didn't. That's Small Business Saturday. NBC News Digital reporter Maya Eaglin explains what some mom-and-pop toy stores are doing this season to set themselves apart from the big online retailers.
This time of year, some things never change.
I like the Ninja Turtles, Barbie doll, a wedding dress.
Children around the world are making their lists, and holiday shoppers are filling their carts. It's not just the big brand name stores and online shopping that's looking to serve up some smiles this holiday season. Smaller toy stores are too. According to the Toy Association, an estimated 3 billion toys are sold annually in the U.S. That adds up to about $41 billion in sales. So we turn to the toy experts.
The March Hare here in the East Village of New York City is one of the few remaining locally owned toy stores in the city.
Co-owners Ilana Wales and Karen Azule took over the store a few years ago.
At dinner one night, my husband said, "Why don't we buy the toy shop?" And we all were like, really?
There's a legacy of toy stores on East 9th Street.
There used to be a toy store called Dinosaur Hill that was here for like 30 years, and that closed during the pandemic.
How have you all been able to remain competitive against big stores?
One thing that we do is we try and have a lot of stuff in the shop that you cannot find in some of the more major retailers.
So I think people really want to come and support something that's a community, it's part of their community, and it's a way to feel like they're
part of something.
And they're not wrong. Just in 2023, U.S. consumers spent around $17 billion on Small Business Saturday. But it's not just New York City. Susan Hay opened the Haymarket in Long Beach Island, New Jersey, with her late husband, John, in 1976.
Well, it's my life. It's my labor of love. When I first went into business, somebody told me that most small businesses end in a year. And I thought, I'm going to stick it out for 5 years. And that was 50 years ago.
From puzzles and stuffed animals to collectibles and creative crafts, Susan says the holidays are actually her slow season, with less folks on the island.
In the summer, we're just jammed with people all the time.
She says there's a legacy of community felt in the loyal customers who practically grew up or saw their kids grow up in the store.
And when they come here, we have to come here because they think I own the Haymarket.
It's more than just stuff, it's just a place full of memories. Why do you think it's important to support small businesses?
Just to keep the local community going. It's really difficult in today's day to work against the big box stores. So the fact that you're coming into a little mom and pop store, you're supporting their families. In turn, they support the community.
These charming small toy stores might feel like a relic of the past, but maybe all of us can bring back some of that magic together. Maya Eklund, NBC News.
All right, coming up, let's keep the holiday theme going here. The movie season is upon us.
That's right. When we come back, who came out on top at the box office this past weekend? And what other films are worth checking out before the end of the year? We'll let you know. Stay with us.
Welcome back. All right, so just last week, Dictionary.com declared demure was the word of the year. Now, Oxford University Dictionary is having its say. Oxford chose brain rot, which it defines as the supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as the result of overconsumption of material, now particularly online content, considered to be trivial or unchallenging. The term was actually first used way back in 1854, minus the online content part. It has given new life in the digital age and become much more frequently used in the last couple years. I think these are like two good examples of like modern America's pros and cons. Yeah. Demure, brain rot.
I'm going to go with Dictionary.com, though, as demure felt more...
Demure felt like more of the more pop culture.
Yeah, I agree.
Brain rot might be the more accurate thing.
Yeah. I just feel like it's not that new, but I get it. All right, cool. Well, finally this hour, it was a blockbuster week at the box office.
Yeah, the trifecta of Disney's Moana 2, Universal's Wicked, and Paramount's Gladiator 2 helped take total box office receipts to an estimated $420 million. That is a record for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. For more, let's bring in Eric Davis. He is the managing editor of Fandango. Eric, good to have you with us. So big picture. I mean, last year we had Barbenheimer. Now we have these three movies all kind of coming together at the same time. Every year I feel like we have this conversation, we do this story, like, is the box office dead? And then at the end of the year, it has this great resurgence and things are great. Is that what we're seeing this year, or is there something different at play?
Yeah, no, I think we've already proven that people still want to go to the movies, you know, and they're willing to come out in large droves if it's an event type film, or in the case of this weekend, multiple films that punctuated pop culture, that took over your social media feeds, you know. And I think why these films did so well is that they're all audience friendly. If you look at the audience scores for all of these movies on Rotten Tomatoes, they're all really high in the 80s and 90s. So when you have audience friendly movies that they're going to talk to their friends and family about, you pair it with a holiday weekend where people just need to get the kids out of the house. It's a perfect recipe for this kind of business. And I think it's great for movie theaters to see this success over the holiday weekend.
Moana 2, it actually led the weekend pack. These three movies we keep talking about, it made more than twice what some experts predicted. Why do you think it did that? How did it work out like that?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, first of all, Moana, the first Moana, was the biggest, the most streamed movie on Disney Plus in 2023. Wow. And so this film was a monster, you know, and similar to Inside Out 2, which was from Pixar. This was Disney Animation's biggest opening ever, by the way. But you have these generations that are growing up, you know, they're introduced to these films for the very first time. A lot of people probably watched Moana. It was their very first movie. And now they're sort of, they need to go see the sequels. This is part of the fabric of their lives now. And I think that's why we saw such success with both Inside Out 2 and Moana 2, because the originals just meant so much to so many people.
I think the other thing we've learned in the last few years is movies have to be good. If they're not good, word spreads quickly and people actually don't see them. So that brings us to Wicked, highest grossing Broadway adaptation of all time. $262 million domestically since it opened, doing well overseas. What is behind this film's soaring popularity?
Well, first of all, it's the second highest grossing Broadway musical of all time. So you got a lot of people that are going to show up, and this first part, especially of Wicked, is just packed with song after song after song that are just beloved songs. So you have not only the Wicked crowd that's like they're showing up multiple times to watch this movie, but then you just get the passerbys, the people that just want to go see an entertaining film that they can take the whole family to. Everybody understands this movie because they know The Wizard of Oz. So even if you haven't seen the musical, you can still really have a great time. My daughter went to go see it over the weekend, never saw the musical, absolutely loved the film. And so I think that's where you're getting this mix of audiences and repeat business, especially with Wicked. A lot of people going back to see it again and again.
All right, Eric Davis, good to have you with us. Love to see all this box office buzz going on right now.
Happy holidays. Happy watching. Thank you.
That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
But the news continues right now. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on a Monday. I'm Savannah Sellers.
I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, in a major reversal, President Biden grants his son Hunter a full and unconditional pardon. This after the president had promised not to interfere in his son's legal issues. The move sparking backlash from Republicans and some Democrats. How the president is responding. Plus, new fallout over President-elect Trump's controversial pick to lead the FBI. The firestorm over Kash Patel and the promises he has made that could change the Bureau forever. Also this morning, snow slamming the Great Lakes. The winter weather causing treacherous conditions on one of the busiest travel days of the year. Some areas seeing up to 4 feet of snow as blizzard-like conditions blanketed part of the region, forcing drivers to abandon their vehicles. Michelle Grossman is standing by with your full forecast. And don't put your credit cards away just yet. Cyber Monday is here. Retailers are gearing up for a potentially record-breaking day of sales. From electronics to apparel, we're breaking down the discount deals as the shopping frenzy kicks off. Not exhausted from all that shopping over the weekend.
No.
Just get it all done now. Then you don't have to worry about it.
I've still got a list of a couple things where I'm like, it's now or never.
It's now or never. Get it done. Take advantage of those deals. All right, let's begin this hour with that major reversal from President Biden. He signed a full and unconditional pardon for his son Hunter just weeks before Hunter was set to be sentenced in 2 federal criminal cases.
Yeah, Hunter Biden was convicted earlier this year on gun charges. He also pleaded guilty to tax evasion. NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez has more on how Republicans are reacting to the about-face from the president and what Hunter is saying about getting off the hook.
Joe and Savannah, good morning. President Biden and his aides had repeatedly insisted he would not pardon his son Hunter or commute his sentence. Now, after the election, the president has changed his mind, arguing his son was treated unfairly. This morning, the White House is facing backlash from Republicans and even some Democrats. Overnight, President Biden not answering questions as he boarded Air Force One for an overseas trip to Africa. It comes just hours after he signed a full and unconditional pardon for his son Hunter Biden, saying in a written statement that the facts of the cases show, quote, Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. Adding, in trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me. Enough is enough. The pardon sweeping, covering offenses that Hunter Biden, quote, has committed or may have committed or taken part in over the past 11 years, including but not limited to all offenses charged or prosecuted. Hunter Biden was scheduled to be sentenced this month for his conviction on federal gun charges and separately for a criminal case in which he pleaded guilty to federal tax evasion. The pardon, a striking reversal for the president.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes, I will not pardon him.
White House aides, even after the election, had also repeatedly said Biden would not pardon his son.
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
But as NBC News first reported, the president did decide to reverse course over the holiday weekend at his family's annual Thanksgiving getaway in Nantucket. In a statement, Hunter Biden writing, "I will never take the clemency I've been given today for granted." President-elect Trump, meanwhile, questioning whether Biden would pardon those imprisoned for the January 6th attack on the Capitol, writing on social media, "Such an abuse and miscarriage of justice." Many Republicans blasting the president's decision. Senator Tom Cotton arguing most Americans can sympathize with the father's decision to pardon his son, even if they disagree. What they can't forgive is Biden lying about it repeatedly before the election. Biden also facing criticism from some Democrats, including Colorado Governor Jared Polis, who wrote he understood Biden's motivations as a father, but, quote, "I am disappointed that he put his family ahead of his country." Legal experts say the language in this pardon is the most sweeping we've seen in decades, ever since Nixon's pardon in the 70s. Rather than just pardon Hunter Biden for the specific gun and tax crimes, this covers him from a Trump Justice Department reopening any criminal investigations. Joan Savannah.
All right, Gabe, thank you so much. Trump's pick for Attorney General will also be in the spotlight this morning, as Hallie mentioned. Longtime Trump ally Pam Bondi will head to Capitol Hill to meet with high-ranking Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, as she inches closer to leading the Department of Justice.
Bondi was tapped for the promotion after former Congressman Matt Gaetz withdrew amid sexual misconduct allegations he denied. But Mr. Trump's new pick comes with her own record of controversies. This includes this promise to investigate the law enforcement officials who tried to hold Mr. Trump accountable for his alleged crimes.
The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated. Now they have a spotlight on them, and they can all be investigated, and the House needs to be cleaned out.
We have NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitale joining us for more on this. Hi, Ali. Good morning. So Bondi still needs that Senate confirmation in order to officially get the job as Attorney General. As we mentioned, she'll be meeting with Senator Grassley later this morning. He is expected to chair the Senate Judiciary Committee. What will come out of her meeting, do we think? How likely is it that she will eventually be confirmed?
Well, look, the reception to Bondi was certainly much warmer from Senate Republicans than it was to her predecessor for this role, Matt Gaetz. There's a lot of reasons for that, but many Republicans are just simply pointing to the fact that her resume includes practicing law. She was an attorney at one point. She was a state attorney general. That, of course, all works in her favor, especially among Republicans, again, who were very skeptical about Gaetz for myriad number of reasons. But when it comes to Democrats, they also have their own concerns. Grassley is a pivotal figure here. The fact that she's meeting with him first, of course, is because he's likely to chair the Judiciary Committee once again, but also because he really does carry a lot of credibility on Capitol Hill. Yes, among his Republican counterparts, but also potentially being able to speak to Democrats and just allow a more thorough and consistent and fair process for her when she gets in front of the Judiciary Committee. Again, most Democratic senators have already agreed to that, but the Democratic ranking member of the committee, Chair Dick Durbin, who is the current chair of the committee now, made clear he has serious concerns about her because, in part, of the way that she spoke in clips just like the one that you played.
So, Ali, if she is confirmed, could Bondi follow through on some of these vows we heard her make? Can she actually go after Mr. Trump's enemies as Attorney General? And what's the feeling about that on Capitol Hill?
She definitely could, and that's why we're seeing Democrats specifically begin to speak out at an early point. I know that some people have said that her nomination has been bipartisan, and certainly there have been Democrats at the state level who have praised Bondi for the work that she has done. But in Congress, this is really seeming to break down at this very early point along party lines. That's what really made the Gaetz nomination such an anomaly on Capitol Hill, is typically you see senators and lawmakers from the incoming president's own party really march in lockstep with the idea that a president should be able to put together the team and the cabinet that they want to do the job and so that they can hit the ground running. Of course, that was not the reception that someone like Matt Gaetz got, a controversial figure on Capitol Hill. It's not even really the reception that Pete Hegseth is getting, though certainly more Republicans are willing to explain away claims of sexual misconduct than they were initially, even in Gaetz's own circumstance. But really, when it comes to Bondi, the comments that she's made about prosecuting the prosecutors, investigating the investigators, all of that is certain to be highlighted and really centered in on during her confirmation hearings on Capitol Hill, which may look a little bit more normal, but we shouldn't really downplay the things that she has said in the past as a Trump loyalist and as someone who will head now the law enforcement branch of the U.S. government and be really the administration's top cop.
Allie, in terms of what they would actually look like as Attorney General running the Department of Justice, what differences do we see between Bondi and what would have been with former Representative Gates?
I think in practice, style, certainly, they have different styles here, but both of them have been in Trump's orbit for many, many years. They've stayed close to him. They're all part of the Florida group that really you're seeing Trump start to pull from for this administration. Bondi, Michael Waltz, all of these other members of the Florida delegation coming in to be key parts of Trump's federal government. But I think for Bondi, she has spoken in similar fashion and promised similar things that Gates himself would have likely done. This entire idea of some deep state conspiracy that is against the former president, now president-elect, has been really a central theme within Trump world for the entire time that he has been out of the White House, despite the fact that there is absolutely no evidence to back that up. That is going to be key. I think the other thing that I'm interested to see is while she might move forward on investigating the investigators, as she says, does it include firing prosecutors who were part of Jack Smith's operation? Most likely. Certainly we know from our sources that they're preparing for that. But also, does it involve digging all the way back to the 2020 election that Trump lost, where he still says he won? Past attorney generals said they weren't going to look into that, like Bill Barr, but will Pam Bondi if she's confirmed? That's one question.
Allie Vitale, thank you.
As the holiday weekend comes to a close, major storms have been slamming the country from the Great Lakes to the Northeast, and that is creating treacherous travel conditions, with traffic piling up and flights delayed just as folks were trying to get home. NBC News correspondent George Solis has the details.
Yeah, winter is definitely here. You can see here in Orchard Park some of these snow piles. That is just a common sight after these days of unrelenting snow. Roads looking pretty good. Unfortunately, some of these areas got hit with about 4 feet of snow. Some towns and communities still digging out this morning. And it's not just the snow. The plains in the southeast also looking to get hit with some pretty cold air.
This morning, life-threatening snow slamming parts of the country, causing chaos for millions on the year's busiest travel weekend.
Slow traffic, a lot of stuck vehicles.
Intense snow pounding the Great Lakes region, dumping more than 2 feet of snow in Pennsylvania and triggering a state of emergency for western New York, with dangerous blizzard-like conditions blanketing the region.
It looked like a complete whiteout. You couldn't see anything in front of you. The roads, you couldn't even see nothing.
The treacherous terrain causing dozens of serious accidents, with thousands of vehicles left stranded on major highways.
Don't travel unless you absolutely have to.
Snowplows struggling to keep up on clogged roadways. Some residents forced to dig out of their homes.
You shovel so much you gotta stop and rest, because you don't, you pass out there.
While in Buffalo, the snow piling up at Highmark Stadium on football's biggest weekend didn't stop an epic Sunday night football game.
There's at least 2 feet, maybe more.
Fans pitching in, ready to cheer on their team, no matter the weather.
We're here, that's what we do.
And unfortunately, the snow not looking to be done with us yet. Some areas could see additional feet of snow. As far as those cold temperatures, averages about 10 to 15 degrees colder than they should be for this time of year. Officials not taking any chances. Some classes are canceled as that snow continues to pile up. Back to you.
Understandable, George. Thank you so much.
Well, even with the challenges of those massive winter storms, the FAA still says it oversaw a record low level of flight delays and cancellations through Saturday.
Welcome news for travelers, considering just how busy it was at airports, especially yesterday. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock joined us now from LaGuardia with more. Sam, good morning. What's it like there? Do things seem to be running smoothly after the big weekend rush?
Yeah, Joe, Savannah, good morning. Good to be with you. If you got through all of this unscathed, that's pretty remarkable given the sheer volume, guys. Tens of thousands of flights. Joe, as you said a second ago, treacherous travel conditions with all this winter weather. And yet, looking at the delays and cancellations nationwide, and also here at LaGuardia, it's pretty low, all things considered. Let's take the big picture first. So about 6,500 delays yesterday nationwide, 122 cancellations. That actually is not that large a figure, or either one of them really, when you look at the big picture of just how many people were flying in general. Then also at LaGuardia, 216 delays. 0 cancellations at one of the busiest airports in the entire country. Are you kidding me? So you can understand why people are feeling a sense of gratitude toward that. And Savannah, as she mentioned a second ago, the FAA said through Saturday, you were looking at 0.3% cancellations nationwide, just over 1% delays. Those figures are phenomenal given the headwinds, no pun intended, that many travelers were facing this holiday season.
Absolutely. I had a lot of family come in. All of them made it back on time. Everything was surprisingly awesome. Sam, just how many people did travel? Did we break records like we thought?
So we just got preliminary numbers, Savannah, from TSA of almost 3.1 million passengers that were screened on Sunday. That is not just the biggest number of this holiday stretch for Thanksgiving. It is the largest number ever. And it's preliminary, which means it is going to continue to grow. It's only the second time in the history of the agency that they have cleared 3 million passengers. Happened once earlier this year on July the 7th. So it really does, guys, track with the idea that more people are traveling now than ever before. The projections from AAA coming into this holiday were about 18 million people between Tuesday of last week and Monday of today. So we're going to have to see how many people are actually hitting the roads and flying by the end of today. But it's looking like we could be seeing another record as that aggregate total for people traveling.
Of course, Sam, so many more folks are going to be traveling in the coming weeks. What can you tell us about some of the new policies that airlines have enacted right before or around the holidays? Have they been successful?
Yeah, Joe, 2 big ones to talk about. The first one is Southwest Airlines. They are going to be winding down their cabin service. Earlier in the flight, it used to be at 10,000 feet of elevation. Now it's at 18,000 feet. So earlier in the flight, you're going to have to start putting your seat upright, putting your seatbelt on, not getting drink service. The airline says that's a function of trying to reduce the number of injuries based on turbulence. And then you have American Airlines. They have already unveiled at 100 airports nationwide the ding sound. If you try to board your group early, you are going to be shamed. Now, if you're with a companion, I know everyone laughs about this, but it's kind of like, finally, someone is doing something about enforcement. If you're with a companion who is boarding at an earlier group, they have the power and discretion to override the ding. But I ask you this, guys, how many times have you been to airports? Forget about boarding the wrong group. People are just sort of like congregating around the gate, right? They're just herding there, and you can't even get to the gate to try to check in, and they don't know what group they're in, and it drives everybody insane. So hopefully some folks are just a little bit more cautious and understanding about, like, you know, reciprocity and understanding your fellow passengers' needs
Sam
when you go to the airport.
So worked up.
It's
like, you're just talking about a friend, Sam.
or we just get Sam a cattle prod.
You really got me going on this one, let me tell you.
Just get Sam a cattle prod.
Personal pet peeve.
Gosh, Sam, thank you, Sam.
All right, so as we've been talking about this historic holiday rush colliding with early winter snow, dangerously cold winds.
That's right. We've got Michelle Grossman here with your forecast. She's tracking it all for us. Michelle, how's it looking out there?
Hi there, guys. Well, overall picture not looking bad. Coast to coast, we are actually relatively quiet. But of course, a lake effect snow, that's the big story, and that's going to continue, as well as that winter chill for the eastern half of the nation. We're looking at temperatures well below normal, 5, 10, 15 degrees below normal. So starting in the west, we have lots of sunshine in the southwest as well. The south central states, for the most part, we're doing good. You could see southern Texas, extreme southern Texas, like Brownsville. We see showers, could see a few thunderstorms as well. Looking good in the northern plains. It's once we get to the east, especially the Great Lakes, that lake effect snow machine still really going today, tomorrow into Wednesday, and then another system will move in Wednesday into Thursday, and then eventually impacting the northeast. Wintry chill throughout the southeast. We're really chilly in the southeast this morning. So by Wednesday, we're going to see soggy conditions throughout parts of the Mississippi Valley into eastern Texas. We could see some really soggy conditions too, where you see those darker colors, but really dry throughout the northwest, Pacific Northwest, Southwest, northern plains. Great Lakes, we're looking at that snow still continuing. Now, keep in mind today, we're going to see over a foot of snow still in some spots on top of what they've already gotten. Staying cool in the eastern part of the nation, that will last until Friday. This cold air is in place and it's not stopping. The jet stream really far to the south, letting all this cold air in. By Friday, still relatively quiet in terms of precipitation. Still seeing that heavy rain falling in parts of Texas, parts of the Mississippi Valley. Otherwise, for the most part, we are dry. The Pacific Northwest, dry for a while. That was good because we were so wet for so long. Seeing that rain returning on Friday and the lingering snow throughout the Great Lakes. Otherwise, we are nice and dry on Friday. Let's talk about that lake effect snow. We're looking at those bands going over the waters here. And again, downwind of Lake Erie, we could see an additional 20 inches in some spots. So we're going to track that for you over the next couple of days. As a result, 5 million people impacted by winter alerts. Right now, we have lake effect snow warnings, winter snow warnings, and winter weather advisories throughout the Great Lakes. That includes Syracuse, Erie, Cleveland, also portions of the UP of Michigan. Now, as we go throughout time here, we will continue to see those scattered showers persisting across the region. And look at this, 1 to 2 inches per hour. That could be some of the snowfall rates. That's going to reduce visibilities. There's snow on the roadways already. And by tomorrow, we're going to get a brief break in the eastern half of the Great Lakes. But that next system approaches the western lakes, and that's going to bring additional snow. Where you see the pinks and purples downwind of Lake Erie, that is where we're looking at the highest amounts of snow falling. And it's going to be a lot. When this is all said and done, again, we are looking at 70 inches in some spots already. Wintry chill, that's another big story. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s. Philadelphia, 39 degrees, 46 in Raleigh. By tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures in the 30s and 40s as well. 50s in Jacksonville. Really cool start there, and temperatures 15 degrees below what is typical for this time of year. And staying cool later this week, we're looking at temperatures only in the 40s Wednesday and Thursday. In New York City, 34 on Friday. That's only 2 degrees above freezing. That's a really cool, chilly, cold, very cold daytime high. And Atlanta, we're looking at temperatures in the 50s and 48 degrees by in Atlanta by Friday. Hey, guys, when Sam was getting riled up, a button fell off my dress.
Oh. Were you getting riled up too?
I guess so. I was like,
oh my gosh.
We blame those people who are standing around the gate when they're last aboard, right? All right.
Wow,
Let's go find the button, all right?
Really strong feelings about it all. Thanks, Michelle.
Sure.
All right, we have a lot more to get to this morning beyond the button, including a strike at the biggest automaker in Europe. Look, she got the button back. All right. The major sticking points is plants shut down.
But first, heartbreak for an American family who thought their son was being held hostage in Gaza. But we've just learned about the death of an American-Israeli soldier next.
Kelly, and we are coming on the air tonight with new developments. What's up? What do we know about these chemicals? And should we be super concerned about it or what? Economic policy and what the election means for it. Break it down in English. What this means for people's money.
Closer to the Gaza border. A story of resilience and hope. Please take care of yourself and each other.
We are back with the latest out of the Middle East. The mother of an Israeli-American hostage is speaking out after Hamas released a video of her son begging for a deal to end the war in Gaza. The video of the 20-year-old hostage, Edan Alexander, is the first of its kind released by Hamas in months. We're also learning of the death of an Israeli-American who, until this morning, was also believed to be a hostage. NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley joins us now from Lebanon's capital with the latest. Matt, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, that's right. Well, Yael Alexander, she's trying to appeal both to the U.S. government and to the Israeli government to try to free her son and those remaining hostages after that heart-wrenching video where her son was seen begging for help. She went to the president of Israel and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and asked them personally for assurance that they were going to do their best to try to get him released. But I got to tell you guys, the fact is despite that we've been hearing from the Biden administration, from Benjamin Netanyahu, and even from Hamas that there could be an opening for a deal. And in fact, there was a deal here in Lebanon just last week that ended the fighting here for the most part. Doesn't sound as though we're going to be seeing anything anytime soon. There's a lot of pessimism that there could be a deal just because there was one here, that one deal here in Lebanon would necessarily lead to one between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip that would see those remaining more than 100 people released. Here's our report.
This morning, breaking news of the death of an American who was thought to be a hostage in Gaza. Israel's military announcing that Omer Nutra, an American-Israeli soldier, was actually killed in the October 7th attacks. His family had thought he survived as a hostage.
What keeps you strong? What gives you hope?
The thought that he's alive and that he's waiting for us to rescue him. That's what keeps me hope.
Now the IDF says Nutra's body is being held in Gaza. The news comes after Hamas released this propaganda video showing another Israeli-American hostage.
My name is Edan Alexander.
Edan Alexander begging incoming President Donald Trump to negotiate for our freedom. Edan's mother now ramping up the pressure for a ceasefire with Hamas that would free her son and other hostages, speaking Saturday with Israel's prime minister.
So I ask him, please, Benjamin Netanyahu, be strong for the country, be strong for Israel and release them.
I'm the father of Edan Alexander.
Edan's family also rallying yesterday in Central Park. It comes as the Biden White House makes a new push to release the hostages in the waning days of the administration. Despite pessimism, it will succeed.
Our hope is that we can generate a ceasefire and hostage deal, but we're not there yet.
While in Gaza, there's fresh outrage from relief workers after the World Central Kitchen said Saturday 3 of its local staff members had been killed in an Israeli airstrike. Israel said one of the 3 had participated in Hamas's October 7th attacks. The U.S.-based charity said it has no knowledge that any of its members are affiliated with Hamas. This is the second time Israel has killed WCK workers, again causing the group to pause its operations feeding people in Gaza.
And guys, on that previous IDF airstrike in April that killed 7 World Central Kitchen employees, the WCK called it a deliberate killing. But the IDF apologized, calling it a mistake. Joe?
All right. Matt Bradley. Matt, thank you.
Let's get to more international news now. In Guinea, dozens are dead after a stampede broke out at a soccer match.
NBC News international correspondent Claudio Lavanga has that and some other world headlines. Claudio, good morning.
Joseph, and a good morning. Well, that's right. That soccer game being played in Guinea turned into a real tragedy on Sunday. Well, now the game was being played in Guinea's second largest city. The name is Nzerekore, when a decision by the referee triggered a violent reaction by supporters of the visiting team who threw stones at the pitch in anger, clashed with the police, and later stormed the field. According to the government, at least 56 people died in the resulting stampede. The fear is that the death toll may rise. Let's go now to India and Sri Lanka, where at least 19 people were killed after a cyclone caused widespread flooding across the two countries. India's weather office said the cyclone Fengal brought the heaviest 24-hour rainfall in 30 years. flooding entire cities where people had to be rescued by boat. While in Sri Lanka, the country's disaster management center said heavy rains killed at least 16 people and affected almost 140,000 families there. Let's end this tour of the world in Berlin, where dozens of Santas gathered at the famous Brandenburg Gate, which has been dubbed Berlin's Santa's headquarters for the occasion, as they prepare to visit children for Christmas. But they don't come for free, or at least they don't anymore. It costs about $100 for the visit, with an additional cost if you want an angel to come along. Well, guys, I guess that is Auf Wiedersehen to the Christmas spirit. Of course, Auf Wiedersehen is goodbye in German.
Santa feeling the effects of inflation, apparently. So.
Oh, I love seeing them all together. Claudia,
Right.
thank you. Well, Cyber Monday is here, and the bargain hunt is on.
After the break, we're going to dig through the deals and big items that you might be saving, that could have you saving some serious green. That's next.
Welcome back. Well, if you didn't get all the presents on your list on Black Friday, don't worry. The holiday shopping season, it's really just getting started.
Yeah, Cyber Monday kicking into gear this morning with deep discounts on lots of big-ticket items. NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung joins us now. We assume he's done with his shopping because he's been living at malls for the past few days.
True.
Brian, good morning.
You know, I was working, so I didn't really have the chance to do all that much shopping myself. But good morning from this Amazon fulfillment center here in Robbinsville, New Jersey, where they're gearing up for what could be a record day after what was already a record-breaking Black Friday. Amazon saying tens of millions of customers worldwide placed a record amount of items, orders, and also helped the company net record sales for Black Friday, which could point to a strong Cyber Monday as well.
This morning, Cyber Monday is in full swing, with millions of consumers looking to score big online.
Cyber Monday is low-key where it's at.
The annual extravaganza on track to be the single biggest shopping day online this year, driving a record $13.2 billion in spending, up more than 6% from last year. Experts say to expect the deepest discounts on electronics and apparel. Mega retailers on Cyber Monday are offering some of their lowest prices yet. Our NBC News holiday price tracker followed the prices of several items over the last few months, finding that these AirPods Pros are at their cheapest prices since at least July. Experts say the long list of Cyber Monday bargains are poised to cap off a strong weekend of holiday shopping.
Does that point to potentially another record-breaking day for the e-commerce focused Cyber Monday?
Yeah, and Cyber Monday tends to be the strongest online shopping day of the year, so I would not be surprised to see some records broken.
Latest numbers show that retail sales on Black Friday rose more than 3% from 2023. And while plenty of folks turned out to their local malls to do some in-store shopping, Americans increasingly opted to shop online on Black Friday, leading to a record $10.8 billion in online sales.
People definitely laid back in their PJs and did a bunch of shopping on Black Friday.
Some of this year's hot sellers: makeup and skincare sets, hair products, and Bluetooth speakers. And if you didn't quite make it all the way down your list just yet, you may be in luck. Today could be your best time to buy.
I know my son's been bothering me for another gaming system. So, you know.
Is he going to get one?
We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll
if the
see.
deal is right.
If the deal is right.
If the deal is right. And by the way, this Cyber Monday could be part of what could be an expected record in terms of just online sales, specifically on your mobile device. Adobe says that they're projecting $128.1 billion on mobile orders just over this holiday season. And by the way, some final tips for those that are going to go out and shop online today. First off, take a look at specifically fall apparel, because retailers really want to try to get that inventory out as they switch to the winter, deep, kind of heavier coats going into the later parts of the season. As well as with those smaller retailers, if you saw a deal on Black Friday that you didn't like, there's a high probability they'll have an even deeper discount to get some of that merchandise out the door today on Cyber Monday. Happy shopping.
Yeah, exactly. Happy shopping. So much going on there. Brian, thank you so much.
Let's continue our coverage of Cyber Monday with a look at what the country's biggest online retailer is planned for today.
That's right. Brian was just at an Amazon fulfillment center. Well, this year, he mentioned some of this. Amazon says it's offering shoppers more days to get those deals, bigger discounts, and also using new tools to help make gift buying easier.
Vice President of Fashion and Fitness at Amazon, Jenny Freshwater, joins us now with more on all this. Jenny, good morning. So let's start with your best deals this year. Shoppers can get discounts across more than 35 categories. We're talking about electronics, home, toy, beauty, fashion. Walk us through some of the deals you expect are going to be most popular.
Good morning. We're so excited to be here today on Cyber Monday. Some of the deals that I'm most excited about, as you mentioned, across toys, beauty, fashion, some of the best sellers so far have been in beauty, those Korean skin masks that are collagen. You put them on before you go to bed and you wake up with glassy skin in the morning. Those have been flying off of our virtual shelves, as well as the Bissell Green machine. I have pets. I've got Mars and Luna, who are big golden retrievers. And that machine does wonders if you've got anybody in your house. It's a little bit messy, 4-legged or 2-legged.
I have heard a lot about that and seen that on TikTok. Let's talk about what's new for this year's holiday shopping event, the type of stuff that you guys are doing for the first time, AI, things like that that are helping shoppers through this time.
We are so excited that we have Rufus for the first time this year. It is, if you're on your mobile app or desktop, it's the little sparkly bubbles that are colorful. It is our AI shopping assistant. Can help you shop for the really hard to buy for on your list. I used it the other day for my 17-year-old son who's really into sports. Can say perfect gift for a 17-year-old into sports, and it'll give you some great items. Recommended Theragun for me for good recovery after sports. So I encourage you to use that.
So not everyone is ready to get all their holiday shopping done now, or they're going to have a lot more to get done. So let's be honest, as we get closer to Christmas, as we get closer to the holidays, will people be able to see more deals, especially if they need some last-minute gifts?
I encourage you to come back all day long today. We are dropping deals all day, as well as throughout the holiday season. So shop early, shop often, and you'll find great deals on everything on your holiday list.
All right, Jenny Freshwater, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Happy Cyber Monday.
Thank you. Happy Cyber Monday.
Coming up, it was a blockbuster weekend as audiences gobbled up movie tickets.
After the break, we'll take a closer look at the record-shattering box office and the big names that are drawing the crowds. We're back now with some money news. This morning, Volkswagen employees across Germany are revving up their fight against management and going on strike.
CNBC's Silvana now has that and some other news for your wallet. Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Savannah. Good morning to you. Yeah, so workers at Volkswagen factories across Germany are striking today, stepping up their fight with management over the automaker's overhaul plans. Now, employees at 9 plants are conducting so-called warning strikes, which are usually short walkouts of a few hours. VW, which is one of Germany's largest employers, is seeking to cut costs amid sluggish demand for electric vehicles and competition from Chinese rivals. Big box is now not so big box. IKEA is among the retailers shrinking the square footage of their stores. The chain opening a location in Maryland earlier this year that's less than 9,000 square feet versus a typical store that can sprawl to 300,000 square feet. IKEA says the smaller format is part of its effort to bring the brand to where customers are. It now has a dozen smaller locations across the country. Target, Macy's, and Nordstrom have also experimented with smaller spaces. And Costco is closing the book on year-round book sales. Reports say the warehouse retailer is looking to end constant book sales at most of its 600 U.S. stores, and it will remove the section starting in January. They'll only return during the holiday season and other select times. The New York Times reports Costco says it's making the shift because stocking books on tables is labor-intensive and has to be done by hand. And consumers are buying more online than at physical stores, guys.
All right. Well, as a new card-carrying member, that's interesting news to me. Silvana, thank you very much.
Breaking news. Books are heavy. All right. It was a record-breaking Thanksgiving in movie theaters with domestic box office receipts totaling $420 million.
That is just amazing. The smash sequels Moana 2 and Gladiator 2, and then, of course, the still quite popular Wicked all helped to set this new holiday record. We've got NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Melas here to tell us more. Hi, Chloe. Good morning.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Well, I was one of the people who went to the movies twice during the holiday break. And so, according to a report from analytics firm Intelligence, they report that, 46 million people had turkeys over the holiday. 46 million turkeys were eaten, and there were 30 million people who saw the top 3 movies. Do you like that data there?
Yeah.
Okay. But the movie-going magic may have been interrupted by a new trend. People are pulling out their phones in the middle of the theater, and it's causing a big debate.
You're green.
Movie theaters and audiences giving thanks for the best Thanksgiving weekend in box office history, smashing records with a haul of $420 million in the U.S. The biggest part of that success, Moana 2, surfing to the best 5-day kickoff of all time, bringing in a jaw-dropping $221 million over the Thanksgiving stretch in the U.S. Proof that musicals are still magic for moviegoers.
I got us tickets.
You coming?
Everyone will be there.
As Wicked continues to cast a spell on audiences, becoming the highest-grossing film in the U.S. based on a Broadway musical, something the stars talked to Hoda and Savannah about.
For both of us, it's just a huge dream come true. And also, we're seeing people's reactions for the first time.
And Gladiator 2, starring Paul Mescal and Denzel Washington, fighting its way to a top spot, adding $44 million to the box office totals over the 5-day Thanksgiving period. AMC Theaters CEO declaring the record holiday weekend a national phenomenon. But another phenomenon sweeping theaters is getting mixed reviews.
Stop it. Knock it off.
Please, please, please. Stop filming and stop taking photos of the film.
Social media flooded with pictures and even video taken of movie screens while a film is playing. One fan account even encouraging followers to show your Wicked Part 1 photos, viewed millions of times with thousands of photos posted in reply. Other fans posting themselves watching the film.
I get the Lord. I get it.
Drawing condemnation from other moviegoers hoping to immerse themselves in Oz without the distraction of a neighbor's cell phone. However you're watching, one thing is clear. The movies are already delivering a blockbuster boost of holiday cheer.
Okay, so let's settle it right now.
No! You get 2 to 3 hours without your phone in the theater. Embrace it, enjoy it, immerse yourself in the world that is in front of you
really be annoying
on the big screen.
To have someone next to you crying and filming it, like for TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a no.
Yeah, it's not okay.
That's not the point.
All right, some other movies to keep your eye on. Mufasa is coming out, and that's the movie that has Beyonce voicing one of the characters, and then you also have, I think it's Nala, and then her daughter's playing her daughter in the film, Blue Ivy Carter. So this is a cool moment. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is what we're talking about in my house. And then there's the Timothée Chalamet movie on Christmas Day about Bob Dylan. It looks so good. So there's a lot more to look forward to if these aren't your cup of tea, but $400 million worth says that people really like this one.
Seems like there's something for everyone right now. So cool. Chloe, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, let's head upstate now to Buffalo, New York, where residents have a lot to be proud of. Not only is Buffalo home to the Red Hot Buffalo Bills, it's also the birthplace of a game day delicacy. That's right, we're talking about the beloved buffalo wing. NBC News correspondent George Solis headed upstate to get the full wing experience for himself.
In Buffalo, there's nothing like the sweet taste of a Bills victory. There's just as much of an appetite for something a little spicier, both in flavor and debate over who serves the best.
All right.
We're talking buffalo wings. Here, folks are born and raised with the wing. It's woven into the fabric of this football-loving community. Every season, Bills rookies are introduced to the city and team via wing.
I love wings. Can't count.
I approve these wings, and I love wings.
Oh, that's a good wing.
And the competition is fierce. From Duff's famous wings,
it's pretty competitive, so nobody's necessarily breaking bread or breaking wings together here, I don't think.
To the legendary Big Tree Inn here in the shadows of Highmark Stadium. America's obsession with this deep-fried delicacy runs deep. Every year, more than 1 billion wings are consumed on Super Bowl Sunday alone. More than a fair share eaten at the Anchor Bar, where legend has it, the buffalo wing was born.
This is it. This is where it all started.
We're sitting at the bar where the wings were first served on that fateful night in March 1964.
Mark Dempsey, CEO and partner of the Anchor Bar, says on that night 60 years ago, then co-owner of the bar, Teresa Bellissimo, fried leftover wings and hot sauce as a late-night snack for her son and his friends. The rest is history. So, of course, we dove right in.
Is it hot enough for you?
Magic on a bone.
From kitchen to table, we sampled and sampled and sampled.
This is the part where you really wish TV would scratch and sniff.
Drumming up some answers about the long-standing dispute, blue cheese versus ranch.
Well, y'all don't eat ranch with wings?
This is gonna be my first time ever trying blue cheese. Oh, it don't even look right.
I don't think I ever tried blue cheese in my life.
And whether drumsticks or the middle part of the chicken's wing, known as the flat, is the preferred cut.
I take drums over flats.
Flats. I'm a drum guy.
I'm a flats guy.
During this year's training camp, safety Damar Hamlin getting into the debate.
A drum, you can pick it up one hand, dip it in some sauce.
Speaking of sauce, Lenovo, the official wing partner of the Bills, is also serving them up a la BBQ.
Barbecue them, throw them on, take them off, resauce, and throw them back on again.
And just outside Buffalo, a relative new kid of the flock, Bar Bill.
What's your top 3 wing spots in Buffalo?
I'm gonna go Bar Bill.
Quarterback Josh Allen's top-ranked wing. Bar Bill's secret sauce is how they lay it on, hand-painting every single wing.
We don't toss them in a bowl, so we baste every wing with sauce to make sure it's controlled and every single wing has the same amount of sauce applied and they're not swimming in sauce, keeps them crispy.
But no matter your spot or sauce, one thing Bills fans all agree on is the best wing is the one enjoyed with friends.
Nothing like it.
No. It's a holy experience here in Buffalo.
Because here in Buffalo, it's most certain okay to wing it.
Okay, George in the middle of that group is hilarious. George, thank you for that report. Football fans in Buffalo will have plenty more game day tailgates to enjoy those wings. Last night's snowy victory against the San Francisco 49ers means the Bills have clinched the AFC East and are now the first team to secure a division title this year. They are playoff bound.
So they can have some wings to
There
celebrate.
You go. Love it. George,
Yes.
looked like you had fun with that one. Coming up, a heartwarming story in time for the holidays.
The special moments that change the lives of these kids forever. That's next.
Welcome back. Rapper Kendrick Lamar's surprise new album has debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. GNX is Lamar's 5th #1 album in a row and has been getting great reviews after it arrived without any warning on November 22nd. The rapper's big year will continue when he headlines the Super Bowl halftime show in February. Meanwhile, the #2 spot on the Billboard chart went to the Wicked soundtrack, as millions of us who saw the movie also streamed our favorite tracks. That's exactly what we did in my family, Joe. We went to the movie as a family over the weekend, then we came home and listened to the soundtrack. So, you get it. We love it.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. All right, let's end this hour with a sweet story from Southeast Texas, where more than a dozen families expanded their hearts and their homes to children through adoption. NBC News Now anchor Hallie Jackson has more on this emotional day.
Hey there, it is a really sweet story. A judge in Jefferson County, Texas, dressing up as a version of Santa for the holidays, and our cameras were with him for the most joyful day of the year inside his courtroom when more than a dozen children found their forever homes as the judge granted adoption after adoption.
Hear ye! Everyone get on your feet.
Today we're baking up something sweeter than cookies. Forever families.
We're here with the Connor family today. This is Frankie Connor, and this is Yolanda Connor, and this is Braden.
And the adoption is granted and rendered. Yay!
It's been a long journey. They're ours, and there's no more back and forth. We love them so much, and just happy that they can just be happy kids.
Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho!
Hi, Miss Kendra Francis.
Are you asking the court to grant this adoption?
Yes.
The court will find that all the requirements have been met, and this is a lovely family, and the adoption is granted and rendered. Yay! Ho, ho, ho!
My family means to me everything. Today, our family is official. I'm just glad that I am able to do it for them. They have given me the opportunity to be a mother because I didn't have any kids.
It's the best day of the year because we've got all these families and all these children, and we're making the homes final and permanent, and it's just a day to celebrate. Well, Baker Santa's very, very happy. This is a sweet family. I'll find that all the requirements have been met and the adoption is granted. Yay!
Today, my family is loved.
Today, my family is complete.
Layla, would you like to be adopted today? Your Honor, I have rested my case, and I would like for the court to grant this adoption.
Well, y'all are a very sweet family, and I'm happy to grant the adoption, and we'll make it official. Yay!
Layla means everything to me, so it's nice to know that she's forever mine. I just hope that she always feels loved and wanted, because I've always loved and wanted her. Cheers.
Family means to me everything. Without family, there's nothing.
Now, and I'm Mama. I'm glad that we finally made it to today, and it's official. My family means to me joy.
My family means to me everything. Everything. That's what I live for. My family.
And the Texas Family Care Network says that what you just saw was the largest national adoption day that Jefferson County has seen in years. Just incredible. Back to you.
It really is.
Allie, thank you so much. Adoption is just a gift to so many families that makes these families whole. I love to see those.
What a neat tradition, too, in that courtroom. Amazing.
That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Don't go anywhere, though. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.